inside the mind of the psychopath. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This new channel has come into being to enable me to provide you with information about narcissism and psychopathy. Pure information, I like to think of it. As part of doing so, I will enable you to understand more about the mind of the narcissist, more about the mind of the psychopath, explaining different facets and aspects of the way those individuals think. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you another aspect of the way that I think in terms of my psychopathy, to help you understand the way that my mind operates and is different from yours. Long-standing readers of my work, or long-standing viewers of my work, may recall the instances where I've explained about the concept of triple tracking. This is where my mind is operating in 3 strands at once. So, for instance, I may be listening to the words that a man in front of me is saying. At the same time, I am contemplating what I will say by way of response to destroy his argument. And I'm also thinking about the fact that I've identified an attractive redhead, and I might want to own her and how I shall go about it. My mind, as a combination of my psychopathy and my very high intelligence, is always worrying. Not worrying in the sense of being anxious or worried. Not worrying in the sense of fearing. Not worrying in the sense of not being able to fall asleep at night. After all, as I have explained, that when it's time for me to sleep, I go out like a light. I don't lie there worrying about the state of the world. I don't think, did I leave the iron on? Or, is my friend upset about what I said them today? No. I switch off and I go to sleep. But there is an aspect of the mind of the psychopath which is important for you to understand, which is linked to the war against boredom. And it can be best summed up by this: what if? Whilst I have the ability to be hyper-focused, I can be hyper-focused on a task whilst also my mind is asking, what if? What if I throw this pint glass off this balcony? What will happen? What if I punch this person in the face really hard? What if I drive a rusty meat hug into the malformed cranium of this epsilon semi-moron that is boring me with their theory? What if I set fire to this building? What if I don't pay this person who's desperate to be paid? What if I make this particular observation that I have a shirt like that? It doesn't suit me either. There are all of these what ifs racing through one's mind. I've always had a high level of intellectual curiosity. I very much love learning. I've explained before that at my household we had a beautiful set of encyclopedia, and how, when I was a young boy, a particular teacher every Friday would set a quiz which necessitated researching the answers. It meant for many going to the local library, but coming from a privileged household, I was able to sit down with the purple vellum-bound books and open them up. They had a distinct smell. The beautiful pictures inside were printed on glossy sheets of paper. And as I investigated a particular question, as I sought its answer, I would go into this labyrinthine world of knowledge, words, facts, learning about Greek gods and gemstones, learning about a particular type of bird and why the colour blue is such a rare hue in nature. So many pieces of information as my fingers sought out the page numbers following the index, and as I looked for one thing, I became interested in another, my mind absorbing the information. Thus, this thirst for knowledge meant that not only did I seek out the answers to the questions that had been set by my teacher, but I wanted to learn about other things, always inquiring, always wondering, what if? And that has translated into, what if I say something nasty to this person? What will their reaction be? Will they cry, as I anticipate? Will they get angry and try and fight me? Will they run away? Will they shrink back? And often I make a bet with myself as to how they will respond to see if I'm right in predicting their behaviour. Often I'm right, because I'm very good at reading people, but sometimes I am surprised by their response, and that equally delights me. The satisfaction in recognising the predictability of individuals contrasts with also the surprise of someone acting in a way that one didn't anticipate, and assists, of course, in the alleviation of boredom. The fact is that whenever I am engaging with someone, I'm thinking, I'm wondering, I'm assessing. What does this person look like with no clothes on? What's she like when she's in the throes of orgasm? What would he look like if I was stamping on his trachea until it bubbled? What would happen if I threw this in that direction? I wonder what this place would look like if it were on fire. And when one has all of these what-ifs, the wonderings, the possibilities, running alongside the other thoughts, this is when impulsivity makes its presence felt. That there is this sensation of, do it, find out. And this is where there is an interesting aspect of the way that I am compared to others of my brethren, that because I have a higher executive function and a high control threshold, that I don't always necessarily give in to this impulsivity. There have been occasions where I have. For instance, I remember when I was 19 or 20 years old, I was in a nightclub, and as I was stood at the bar, I had this thought, I wonder what would happen if I tripped up this waiter as he walked past with a tray of drinks. Before I thought any further, my leg was struck out. I tripped him. He went down and crashed, glass everywhere. He was cut. Drinks were spilt. People cried out in alarm and laughter as a response. The narcissist in me delighted in the fuel that came from the reaction. The psychopath in me was interested by the reaction for the purposes of stimulant, and thus the two aspects of who I am were addressed. I came to recognise that it was not always an opportune thing to give in to that impulsivity, because after all I wouldn't want the shackle on my control, and unlike the lower functioning of my brethren, who really struggle to control their impulsivity, I have a better handle on it. I wouldn't say that it's perfect, far from it. There are times when that impulsivity must be given into, that the nagging itch must be scratched, that the opportunity to create some mayhem must be indulged in. After all, it's my version of fun. But ultimately, you must understand that when I'm engaging with you, I'm not only thinking about you, I'm thinking about what I might do next. I'm thinking about what we might do next. I'm also thinking about him or her or something else. There are so many things that are going on, so many scenarios that are playing through my mind, so many what-ifs. And it is the presence of the what-if that results in the necessity of making it so subject to the control of the impulsivity. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.